You've got a 10-pound piece of meat. You've seasoned it, you've injected it, it's ready for the cooker. You put it on, you get it off, and guess what? It's dry, it's stringy. The crust on it is actually very chewy. It's not the pork butt or pork shoulder that you hoped for. Well, what do you do about that? Well, today I'm going to give you 7 tips that will help you to master pork shoulder, either be it the whole picnic or the Boston butt. And stay around to the end because I'm going to show you how much of this 10-pound pork shoulder, which happens to be a whole picnic, will be left for you and your family to chomp on. Stay tuned. So my name is Daryl. I'm also affectionately known as Silly Bubba. So thank you for stopping by. If this is your first time, we encourage you to hit the like and subscribe button as I'm going to be coming out with more and more content. So we look forward to seeing you. So let's get to our first tip. Today I'm using my Yoder YS640, my pellet smoker, and I love this smoker, especially for convenience. One thing that's going to be common sense and is our first tip to a great pork butt or pork shoulder is that you give it consistent heat. Now, I'm not going to police whether or not you cook it at 225, 250, 275 or anything like that. I'm going to let you decide the temperature because everybody cooks at different temperatures. But what I'd like to add is make sure that once you get the pork on, that you give it a good amount of time without raising the lid. You want consistent heat over a long period of time. Now, if you decide to spritz your pork butt, your pork shoulder, or as I have on right now, this whole picnic, that's fine, but wait a few hours. Do not open the pit every 30 minutes wanting to see, hey, is my pork butt done? It doesn't matter. You're going to ruin it, and ultimately you'll dry it out. So let the heat just hit it for as long as possible. Let that smoke build up, and you're going to have a great pork butt, pork shoulder, pulled pork to eat with you and your family. So that's tip number 1. All right. Tip number 2, the stall. So you've been cooking. The meat looks great. It's been moving along. It's taking that mahogany color. It's looking gorgeous. It's getting right where you want it to be. But all of a sudden, what happens? It hits a wall. It hits about 165 degrees, and it seems like it just stays like that for hours. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to the stall. And that happens quite a bit, especially with brisket, but sometimes you see that with large pieces of pork, such as pork butt or whole picnics and so forth. So what do? It's still cooking, right? Well, the temptation is to crank up the heat to push it through the stall, but you don't want to do that. Actually, the best thing to do is to do nothing. Let it keep cooking. Now, what is the stall? Well, the stall is something that's called evaporative cooling. So all of the fat and the collagen that's inside of that large piece of pork, it's now to the point where it's nearly boiling, and it's pushing out to the surface of the meat. But what happens is, once it hits the surface of the meat, it starts cooling the meat. Therefore, you're going to see temperatures probably stay right within the same degree, and it could last for an hour, 2 hours, or even longer. The best thing to do, let it keep cooking. Let it ride outside of the stall. It's still cooking. So don't panic. Don't think, well, I need to put this thing on 500 degrees. Just let it keep cooking. All right? Now let's move on to our third tip. Our third point is wrap your pork shoulder. Now, theoretically, you could cook this all the way to 203 degrees and it would be absolutely done on the inside. But what ends up happening oftentimes is that bark will get really hard. It'll get really tough, almost like beef jerky. And that's not what we want. We want a delectable, delicious, moist pork that we can shred and make sandwiches out of. So I recommend, of course, wrapping your pork shoulder. Now, as you look here, I've added a few things. I've added brown sugar, a little bit of barbecue sauce, a little bit of the peach nectar that I used in my vinegar sauce. I also added some seasonings back in. So I've added my homemade peach jalapeno rub. So now I will wrap this up and I'll get it back on the cooker until it reaches a done temperature. But that point is closely related to our fourth point. And you're probably thinking, well, I know what the stall is now, so when did he wrap? I wrap after. the stall. I wait until it starts reaching the 170s and starts climbing up. That way I know that it's no longer in the stall. It's no longer pushing moisture out to the surface. So what does that do? Well, let's look at the opposite. Let's say it's in the stall and you decide to wrap this pork shoulder. Well, oftentimes what happens is that moisture is still being pushed out. You're still in the stall, and you can ruin that beautiful bark that you've spent hours to build up. So wait till it comes out of the stall, then you can wrap it, get it tender, and you'll have a moist bark that you'll enjoy eating the next day or at dinner that evening. So let's move on to our next point. Now our fifth point. Let's say your pork shoulder is now done. You can tell it's beautiful, it's finished, you're ready to eat, right? The family is probably saying, hey, when do we eat? We're hungry. We've got all these sides here ready. We're just waiting on you. Here's the thing, and it involves planning, but you need to let it rest. That is so important. Think about it again. All of that heat has been pushing on this pork shoulder for hours, 8, 10, 12 or more hours. You're going to have to allow time for that moisture, that collagen, that fat to redistribute in the meat. If you don't do that, you could have something that looks like this. And you don't want that. You want something that's delicious, that's pull apart. So I recommend that you let it rest for at least 2 hours. Now, how do you do that? Well, one way is if you have one of those party stacker coolers, you could use one of those. A lot of people like to wrap it in foil, put it in the bottom of a cooler, and let it sit. And it'll stay there, and it'll stay at a good temperature for eating for probably about 2 to 3 hours, even longer, depending on the type of cooler and how insulated it is. So that's one thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do, let's say you're cooking for the next day. Some people have warmers in their house, and what they'll do, they'll put their pork shoulder in a warmer at about 145 degrees, and then when it's time for lunch the next day or dinner, they take it out and they shred it, and it's perfectly juicy and ready to eat. If you don't have a warmer, you can use an oven. I actually have an oven that I can kind of hack a little bit, drop the temperature to about 145. I can put this pork butt or this pork shoulder in the oven all night, and it'll be ready the next day for lunch. It's done, it's ready to go. One small tip I would recommend as well, sometimes we get in our heads that finishing temperature for a pork shoulder is 203, 205. But now if you're going to be in a warm environment overnight or for an extended period of time, you can actually finish your pork butt short of that, maybe even 195 degrees, and it'll carry over during the night and be tender and ready for the next day. So just something to keep in mind. Another small bonus tip that I want to throw your way, with an effort to keeping the bark in good shape, after you've taken it off of the pit, it's still steaming hot, right? And you've been foiling it for probably what could be an hour or more, right? Open up the foil, allow some of the steam to vent out. We want it to start coming down in temperature, because if you wrap it too quickly, then again, what can happen? It's still cooking. You can lose your bark, and you don't want that. So let it vent for maybe 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe even. Allow it to vent. Then you can rewrap it. You can put it in your warmer. You can put it in your oven, and it'll be ready for when you're ready to eat. All right, so let's move on now to tip number 6. And now we've got a shredded pork shoulder here. And let me tell you, it came out beautifully juicy. Oh, it's delicious. And you also notice this large bone back here, which is an advantage of cooking a whole picnic. Because see, now I can use this bone later as part of a meal with maybe even some beans. So there's a lot of uses here to this pork butt. But now let's get to the next part of how to flavor this even more. All right, now we're ready for tip number 6, or in sign language, 6. All right. So we've shredded the pork shoulder up here. It looks great. You saw a picture of it just a minute ago. It's delicious. It's juicy. But that fat and all of the juices that were wrapped up around that pork shoulder overnight, don't throw it away. I actually reincorporated that into the meat, and so now we're adding some of that flavor back. Here's a couple more things to keep it really moist. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take some of my dry rub, not a whole lot, but I'm going to sprinkle some of it back onto the meat. Okay? Just to get that same flavor profile that I've been using, the peach jalapeno. I also have a vinegar sauce, which has peach nectar in it and a few other items that are consistent across the board with my flavor profile. And I'm actually going to pour a little bit of that in here too. Now, we don't want the pork shoulder to end up mushy. We just want to impart some of the flavor. And I typically don't put thick barbecue sauces on my pulled pork at this stage. I only add flavor enhancers is what I call. So at this point, now I just reincorporate some of that into the meat. I don't want it mushy, but I do want the flavor of pork. All right. And hey, when you're cooking, you get chef's choice. So I am going to try some of this. Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to try this. All right? Now, point number 7. And our final tip for all of you. So this started off as a 10-pound pork shoulder. It was a whole picnic that I bought from the store at a really good price. I prefer pork butts, but if you find whole picnics, it's pork, and it'll cook very similar. The one thing that you'll notice when cooking a large cut of meat, or any cut of meat, is that you will never get the exact amount, pound for pound, from what you put on the pit to the finished product. For instance, this weighed in at a little bit over 5 pounds after completing the entire cook. So that's nearly 50% loss from where I started to when it's time to eat. So how does that help you? Well, that helps you when you're planning ahead, especially for a cookout. Let's say you're having 50 people over to your house or to a picnic, and you're responsible to bring pulled pork. So then that tells you right then and there, you can't go by the poundage of the raw meat that you bought from the store. Take it by half. And that might mean that you might have to purchase maybe a couple of extra pork shoulders. So just keep that in mind. You'll never have, as a finished result, the amount, pound for pound, from what you bought at the store. Remember evaporative cooling. Remember the cooking process. So the meat will gradually shrink. So keep that in mind when feeding a lot of guests. Thanks for hanging with me this entire time on this long cook. But now you're ready. You're ready to feed yourself. I know you're hungry, and you're ready to feed your family. But do you remember the 7 tips again? Well, let's go over them once again. That first tip, if you remember, was don't lift the lid too much. Now you can lift it to spritz, but that shouldn't be every 30 minutes. Otherwise you're going to vent all of that heat away. It's going to be a super long cook, and you risk the potential of drying out your pork shoulder. So remember that. Let it cook. The second point was recognize the stall. Now, the stall is going to happen with large cuts of meat, like brisket or pork shoulder, usually in the 160s. But the tip again is don't panic. Don't crank the heat up to crematorium status, hoping that it'll finish early or get out of the stall early. And what you may do is end up driving all of that fat and all of the juice out into the atmosphere, and you're left with a dry, mealy pork shoulder, and you and I do not want that. So that was step number 2. Step number 3 is I prefer to use foil, especially with pork shoulder, and that allows you to collect all of the juices and the rendered fat that's inside that cut of meat. The second benefit to that, though, as well, is that it helps the bark. So instead of getting really chewy, beef jerky-like bark, you'll get succulent, juicy bark that tastes really good and carries a lot of the seasoning that you've built up. All right, so that was our third tip. Our fourth tip was, when do you wrap? You wrap after the stall. And again, that will help preserve bark. And you remember the reasons why. It's still evaporative cooling in the stall. We don't want to lose all of that bark. We prefer to keep the bark that we've built up over hours of smoking, don't we? All right, so keep that in mind. Number 5, and in my opinion, probably the most important, rest the meat. At least a couple of hours, rest a large cut of meat like a pork shoulder. I like to do mine the day before. I actually took mine to an internal temperature of about 193, 195, and then I put it in the oven overnight in a warmer situation where it was about 145, 150, and now it's perfectly ready. It's rendered, and it actually, even though it was a little less than what would be a done temperature for me, it carried over with that heat and just pulled apart beautifully, and it's at the perfect done texture and flavor. So I'm looking forward to getting into this shortly. Then do you remember the 6th point? And we talked about this a little earlier. After you foiled that pork shoulder and now you're ready to eat, before you eat, incorporate some of the juices that were captured in that foil. It carries that same profile forward and it'll keep your meat moist. If you'd like to at that time as well, add a little bit of the seasoning, a little bit of the rub in there. Add a little bit of the vinegar sauce, a little bit, not too much, so that it doesn't become mushy. But again, it'll carry that flavor forward and the fat will keep it awfully moist. And you'll love it. Believe me, fat is flavor. And you can tell I'm fat. I got a lot of flavor myself. But we won't go into depth on that. All right. And then the final point, if you remember it, is understand that when you cook a piece of meat, you're only going to get about 50% yield left. So keep that in mind when planning for the future. If you're thinking about feeding a large group of people, that's an important metric that's going to help you decide how much meat you actually have to buy. So again, thank you for hanging with me for this long video, but I hope these tips will help you the next time you cook a whole pork shoulder or a Boston butt. These are tips that have helped me over the years to keep the meat just delicious, moist, great bark with great seasoning, and I think it's going to help you guys too, all right? Again, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. I'll be coming out with more content in the future, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all. How's this taste? Let me see. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. See you next time.